Good morning guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a new kind of video for you today that I'm very excited about. I recently found the new Revlon Candid range in my local Dischem. I've seen it in a couple of other Dischems since. I'm pretty sure it's at Clicks too by now. And I grabbed the concealer. So I just wanted to share some information on the range that I've pulled up. Skin enhancing makeup with antioxidant, anti-blue light, anti-pollution benefits, and without the ingredients you don't want. So it's a range with no nasties, it's good for your skin, it's got antioxidants, it's anti-blue light, anti-pollution. Amazingly enough, I know that Revlon foundations, concealers, powders tend to be on the higher priced end of drugstore beauty products. So I was very excited to find out that the concealer, the foundation, and the powder, they all retail for 130 Rand each. So it's still a little bit up there for drugstore with the concealer, but 130 Rand for a foundation is a flipping good price, especially for a Revlon one. So as far as I've found, you can get 12 different shades of the foundation, 12 different shades of the concealer, and there are 3 shades of the powder. So a couple of weeks ago when I saw the range, I picked up the concealer. I have the shade 022 Sand, which is the lightest shade in the range. You get 10 mils of product for 130 Rand, which I think is a fantastic deal. I do like that it's a squeezy tube, but also has a nice sized doe foot applicator. I enjoy this so much that when I went away last weekend for my birthday, it was the only concealer I took with me. It corrects and deep puffs. So it says concealer with caffeine, antioxidants, anti-pollution, anti-blue light, without sulfates, phthalates, no harsh fragrances, oil-free, medium coverage. Definitely a medium coverage concealer. It feels so lovely and light on the skin. It doesn't cake. I do feel like I need to set it with powder, otherwise it will crease under my eyes. But I have enjoyed this so much that I decided to buy, like I said, the foundation and the powder as well. And I want to do a first impressions and a wear test today and let you know what I think of the range as a whole. So currently the time is 10:28. It is Sunday the 28th of July. I'm going to put on my foundation, my concealer, and my powder, and then I will get back to you. So, I have just put on the foundation. I have the shade 200 Nude. This is the lightest shade in the range. With the foundation, it says natural finish, anti-pollution foundation, medium buildable coverage, no harsh ingredients, oil free. So, I used a little bit of my Filorga Pore-Express primer because I always wear primer under makeup. I never go primer free. I think it makes a very big difference in the application and the longevity of your foundation. I definitely think it is a medium coverage. Usually if I wear a light coverage foundation, you can still see freckles across my nose, you can still see a couple of imperfections, and if I wear a medium finish, that's covered, but you can still see a little bit of my pigmentation peeping through, which is exactly what's done now. My freckles, the blemishes so far are covered. It's just the pigmentation marks that are coming through around my eye, which have faded from my Black Diamond facial, by the way, a lot. So you get a little bit of my acne scarring, my pigmentation around my eyes, that all still comes through. But overall, if you look up close, let's wait for it to, you can actually see it's a very nice finish. It's a very soft, natural finish. It did feel quite moisturizing as it went on. So usually with a matte foundation, this says natural finish. It does not claim to be matte. A matte foundation will dry down quite quickly and it will feel dry. It's been 1 minute and this feels a little bit tacky, but nothing problematic. The way it looks, I could probably get away without having to set this with powder. It feels very comfortable on the skin. It feels very light and very natural, so that's definitely true. But as you can see, I do have foundation on my eyelids and that is starting to crease. So for me, setting with powder is more about stopping it from settling into fine lines. So I have a very expressive face and like to do lots of strange expressions, and you'll see that it will start to settle in there, settle here, settle in the lines around my mouth. That's why I set with powder. So that was 2 full pumps of the foundation on my face. Just to note, most foundations are like a standard 30 ml. This is only 22 ml of product. So you are paying 130 Rand, 129.95 to be precise, but you are only getting 22 ml of product. I could have gotten away, since I'm going to use a concealer, I could have gotten away with 1 pump. I don't think I needed the 2 pumps. It did give me definitely a fuller coverage, but I could use 1 pump of that. And so far I like it very much. So while I've got you a little bit zoomed in, I'm going to go in with my concealer, and I'm going to just do under my eyes and a couple of the other areas of my face. I just want to add a little bit of extra coverage too. Gone in and I've applied the concealer. As I mentioned, I'm the shade 022 Sand. The strange thing is, where you get less product than you would with a normal foundation, you actually get more product than you would with a standard concealer. For example, I use the Catrice Liquid Camouflage. That is only 5 ml. You're getting double the amount of product in here. So I do think that that makes up for it. You will use less foundation. You can use more concealer to cover up any eye areas. And for me, it makes it worth it. I love the finish of this concealer. It is so creamy, yet it's so light. You can't feel a heavy product on your skin. I don't know if it does actually depuff my eyes. They do still look a little bit puffy, but at this time of year with my sinuses, they're going to look puffy regardless. There's nothing stopping that. As you can see, it has covered up my pigmentation for the most part. There's a teeny little bit there peeping through, but I don't really want to look cakey and overdone. It's a Sunday. I'm doing nothing but going shopping and going to the movies with my husband. As I did mention, I am going to have to set with powder, because you will find there that product will settle into my lines. And as I said, I'm a very expressive person with my face, so I can't have that happening. But as you can see, I mean, it definitely gives additional coverage. The acne scarring I have here, I only put a little bit there, and it's definitely more covered up. And you can see the overall finish is beautiful. It's like it's not glowy, it's oil. They're all oil-free products, but it's almost like a satin finish, and it just feels, where only the foundation is, it feels dried down ever so slightly, sticky, but not bad. So I really like both of those products so far. I'm very excited to see today how that foundation wears. But your skin looks fresh. It looks fresh and even and awake. So I'm now going to try, let's just zoom you back out a little bit. Oh, see how that looks. It looks very nice. I'm now going to try the Candid Anti-Pollution Powder. There are 3 shades. I did get the lightest shade, so obviously in the foundation, concealer and powder, I have the lightest shade of everything. Anti-pollution setting powder, that's all it says. What I have to say that I like, I have not even cracked this open yet, and I've not seen this in any drugstore powders. There is a little lid that clicks on to stop too much powder coming out and powder spilling everywhere when you open the product, which for me is a huge game changer. I have so many powders. For example, I love my Yardley translucent powder. It doesn't have that, and there is always powder sitting there, so it's not very travel friendly. So I find that if I travel, if I go away, I always have to have a pressed powder, although I do prefer a loose. So I like that very much. And now I feel I can just tap some of the product into the lid. As you can see, it's got little to no color to it. It's definitely going to be quite close to translucent. I'm hoping I don't look ghost-like, but the next shade up was too dark. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to set under my eyes, and I'm going to set my areas that crease with my beauty sponge, and then I'm going to go in with a brush and do the rest. So first I want to just tap those areas to make sure nothing has settled in. As you can see, it's actually settled a little bit in the creases under my eyes. So before we set with powder, make sure nothing is there. Powder is on, and I think I'm in love. I think this might be my favorite product from the range, and so far I love everything. Firstly, as I mentioned, I really love the nifty little lid that goes in and stops any powder coming out, so it makes it super travel friendly. It's actually a nice size as well. Like I mentioned, I love my Yardley translucent powder, but that tub is big. A little bit smaller, a little bit easier if you're going away for a couple of nights or a week or so. I would even take that away with me for one night. It's so good. I have been using a lot of powders lately. It is that time of year when everything looks a little bit drier, a little bit cakier. You want to try and not use as much powder, but going to events and whatnot, and having to work a full day of work before them, I do set with powder and then finish with not a setting spray, a finishing mist, or just a face mist. It settles the powders, but it makes sure your makeup stays put all day long. And a lot of my usual powders have felt a little bit extra dry. They've looked a little extra dry on my skin. This is beautiful. It blurred everything. The second I put it under my eyes to set my concealer, it just looked photoshopped. It looked smoothed. It looked face tuned. It was beautiful. I think it even possibly minimized my pores a little bit more. Everything just looks blurred and smooth. Nothing looks cakey. Nothing looks over dry. Even around my nose, which is usually my problem area, I'm very dehydrated there. It has been flaking because I've been having a little bit of sinus, so obviously my nose is running and I've been blowing my nose. Not clinging to anything. It just looks smooth and beautiful. It is a very nice powder. So I have all three products on. I'm now going to go about my day. I'm going to finish up the rest of my makeup. I'm going to style my hair because I've just washed and dried it. I want to style it. But yeah, so far all I can say is Revlon have done an amazing job. My first impressions are completely wowed. Revlon Candid foundation, concealer and powder. I'll put all the other makeup details in the description box below, and I'm going to go and get my day started now. It is now 7:15 at night. I first applied the makeup at about 10:30, 11:15, and I've had it on since then. I've not touched it up. Like I said, I have bad sinuses, so please excuse how puffy I am there. It is not great. The only thing I have to say is it has worn off a little bit on my chin, but we had very saucy prawns from Jimmy's Killer Prawns today for lunch, and I made a mess on my chin, and I did have to wipe my chin a few times, so that's nothing to do with the makeup. That's because I am a messy Bessie. But as you can see, it's a little bit shiny. It has worn off in certain places, but I mean, that's a good few hours of wear with no touch-ups. I have no problems with how it's worn overall. I'd be happy to wear this on a day-to-day basis. I like how it's worn, I like how it felt, I liked the coverage, and even now, I mean, this is very harsh lighting. Even now, I'm not unhappy with how everything looks. It's still, like, it looks very harsh on my chin right now. There. But, yeah, like I said, that was me being super messy. And yeah, so far I would definitely give a thumbs up to all three of the new Revlon Candid products: the concealer, the foundation, and the powder.